All right, so the next match that we have on the list is Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. And yes, Madcap Moss did get the W. I was surprised about that. He did get the W. Like, after these whole past weeks of basically Happy Corbin saying, yo, Madcap Moss, you're nothing without me. Basically the same thing, kind of like what, MVP was doing to Bobby Lashley. After a while, Moss did prove that he belongs in the WWE. Like, this man won the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Sorry, I couldn't even get that word out. But he did won the Battle Royale, proved himself that, he's just as big as Happy Corbin, aka Baron Corbin. And this man, I'm not gonna hold you, Madcap Moss was going in. Moss was going into the match. Like, this man was starting the match off really good. I'm not gonna hold you. Usually, when it comes to Drew, like not Drew McIntyre, sorry. When it comes to Happy Corbin's matches or Baron Corbin's matches, his matches are not really that His matches are like at best. But Moss, he was doing a pretty good job in the ring. He was proving himself day in, day out that he belongs in WWE and has potential in the WWE. Moss was starting off this match very solid. Man was doing everything. This man was doing everything. This man was doing everything. Every time counting, this man was doing I didn't realize that Moss had hops. This man has bunnies. Real talk. This man has bunnies. Oh my God. I didn't realize how high this man could jump. This man was doing everything, countering his punches, doing cross bodies, everything like that. And I'm like, bro, where's this side of Moss that WWE has never put out? I'm like, honestly, this man has so much potential. But like I said, WWE has so much talent in their industry that they don't know what to do with it. That's sad, and it's sad. And they finally said, you know what? Let's put everything on Moss and give him everything. Try to give him that push, and they did. This man was countering everything that Corbin was doing. Man was doing everything, and I'm like, bruh, where was all this beforehand? When he was doing obviously, when he was with Drew McIntyre, they had to make Drew McIntyre the bigger person because it's McIntyre, former WWE champion, former Raw tag team champion, stuff like that. So they had to give him the push, but after kind of Moss broke that shell with Corbin, I'm glad to see Moss in a bigger and better state now, than before. Because honestly, Moss was basically Corbin's jobber. That's what he was doing. Basically doing his matches for him, doing his dirty work, basically stuff like that. And then at one point in the match, still in the beginning of the match, Corbin was pissed. He was like, bruh, I made you. I could take that away in an instant. And not gonna hold you, this man was doing everything in his power to end Moss off early. He basically kicked him and threw him to the post. This man was slamming his head on the barricade and everything, basically saying to his head that, yo, you're shit without me. This man was doing everything in his power to basically put this man away. Everything. Yeah, he was getting booed by everybody because no one likes Baron Corbin because he's a bitch. Obviously, that's his character. He always been a heel. He has never turned face in his life. He has always been a heel. Like I said, NXT days still was a heel as well too. Never been a face ever. And this man's long hair, heel. When he was GM, heel. King of the Ring, heel. Happy Corbin, his new stupid gimmick, heel. He has always been a heel. He has never been a face. And what's sad about Corbin is, a little background story, never, obviously it's true, and it's still true to this day, never been a world champion. Never. Nor Universal, nor WWE. He only has won one title. One title. And that was back in 2017 when he was when he was United States Championship or the United States Champion. That's it. That's the only title he has won in WWE. And the only other thing that he's, the only other few attributes that he's won was King of the Ring, and also he was Mr. Money in the Bank, but failed obviously because I don't think it was Corbin's time to be like a Money in the Bank champion, let alone become a world heavyweight champion, honestly. And not gonna hold you, like I said, Corbin was dominant in the second half of the match, doing everything in his power to put this man away. And Moss is like, bro, you know what? All right, you probably throwing these little punches at me, but I could take it, bro. Just because you might be a little bit smarter than me in some stuff doesn't mean I have the upper hand on you. Which is true. He was just waiting for that moment. I mean, yes, he was. Corbin was being a little bit dominant in the match. He was showing his strength during this match. Was it like one of the best Baron Corbin's matches I've seen? Yes, in a while. I'm not gonna hold you. Usually every match with Baron Corbin is really shitty, honestly. I mean, the only thing that probably wasn't shitty, I mean, it was technically a tag team match, but it was back in 2019 when Becky Lynch was the Raw Women's Champion and Seth Rollins was the Universal Champion. And Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans want to go against them for both titles in a tag team match. It was a winner-take-all tag team match. And that's the hardest I've seen Baron Corbin go because everybody knows when he did the end of days on his girlfriend, Becky Lynch, and Rollins got pissed, hit his ass with a candlestick numerous of fucking times, bro. I think that's the only time actually Baron Corbin actually went into a match. That's the last time I've seen a great match for him because every other match after that was pretty much shit. So, like I said, this match was one of his good matches in a minute. And I mean, as in a minute, as in like 2 years. That's what I mean. So, him actually doing a thing or two on Moss was, not going to hold you, it was pretty good. But Moss, like I said, did get the upper hand again near the match. And obviously, Corbin was doing his thing where you threw him to the outside, slides out the ring, and then slides back in and try to do the end of days on your ass and ends up hitting it and basically was about to put this man away. And I don't know if he did do the end of days of him, yes, but it wasn't yet. He did basically, did a little bit of a crossbody to this man and threw him inside out and everything. And he was basically like silencing him and basically saying, yo, you know what? Let me just end this now. Like, I'm tired of dealing with this man. Like, Madcap Moss is now a liability to me. And yeah. And it was because in his mind, like Baron Corbin thinks everybody's like just a liability. He thinks it's like, yo, I'm just gonna use you just because, and we're done with. And then Baron Corbin was pissed because this man was countering everything and kicking out everything that Corbin was throwing at him. Obviously. And then after this man Moss threw him outside the ring, at least so he can charge up for a bit. Came back. And then basically was building up enough energy just to throw him out. I think he threw him outside the ring or speared him outside the ring, honestly. Well, yes, he actually hit him outside the ring and definitely was going in on his face and shit. After a while, he did roll him up and did get a 1-2-3 off of him, which was a pretty good win. I'm not going to hold you. Out of everything that this, Corbin was doing after him, he countered him good and got the W off of him, which I was happy. And this match, in my mind, was a good match from Moss. Obviously, ended up getting the dub, which is good. And now I don't know if this is like kind of like a burial in the coffin, which honestly I don't know if it's the end of their rivalry. I think it's just a start, honestly, with their rivalry. But honestly, after he got the roll up and win, I'm like, this man is going places. This man is definitely going places. Like I really like this man is definitely gonna go places. I mean, that's the only thing he could have done was basically roll him up and get a W. But he made Corbin look like a fool that night. He did, and got the W. So, like I said, congratulations to him getting that W against Happy Corbin because it was a surprise to me, and it became a pretty good match to watch. I'm not gonna hold you. So, yeah, that's all. So, yeah, who knew? Who knew? Who knew Moss was gonna get a W over this man? I didn't. I know y'all didn't, but it was surprising to me. It was.